Good day, class. Today we're going to start and draw laboratory plate number 2. The commands that we're going to be using in this laboratory are the following. Number 1, snap and grid. We have used this in laboratory number 1. Line. We are going to draw a line. And number 3, offset. We have used also this in plate number 1. Next command is fillet. Fillet is an editing tool which we can edit lines, especially those that are intersecting, or apparently they will be intersecting at some point. We can control how this reacts. Number 5, circle. Self-explanatory, circle. Number 6, erase. Number 7, move. We use this move command to center our drawing. And lastly, 8 is save. We will save our drawing. Two types of saving. First is we're going to save as, and finally we're going to save. Okay, so these are the commands that we're going to be using in this laboratory. We will be drawing this rook. It looks like a rook, but it has a circle in the middle, one big circle and two smaller circles. The small circle has a radius of 5, but the big circle doesn't have a given radius, because the properties of the small circle will define the size of the big circle. We also notice that the dimensions of the rook are in multiples of 10, which would help us in drawing this using the snap and grid method and using the line command. Also, you would notice the center of the smaller circles are as follows. From the left corner, it is 20 plus the second to the last digit of your student number. And from the bottom, it is 40 plus the last digit of your student number. That will be mirrored on the second circle. Okay, so with this, no two students will have the same drawing unless they have the same last two digits of their student numbers. The bigger circle would the dimension of the bigger circle would depend upon the quadrant, because every circle has quadrants, 4 quadrants. We will be using these quadrants to draw the bigger circle. Okay, so we start off with opening our AutoCAD. Now we open our plate number 1, wherever it may be located. So I put my plate number 1 on the desktop, this folder. Okay, so you open that. Next thing, if you have a mistake, you can edit. Okay, you can edit your drawing if you have made a mistake. Okay, so this is my plate number 1. If you have an error, edit. If not have an error, we will save this. We will save this as a drawing plate template. So file, go to click this file, save as. Then we click here, we change this to .dwt or drawing template. This one, AutoCAD drawing template. So we save it as plate number 2. Drawing template. Where do we want to put it? Put it in our, okay, put it here. Okay, so we P plate number, oops, plate number 2. Okay, then save. Put you can either put in your description or not. So I will put here standard CAD class border. Okay, so measurement is in metric. Okay, and then okay. Now you would notice that there is now .dwt. Okay, so we can now close this to see if it works. Okay, then start new drawing. This time, oops, wrong choice. Start using template, click here, and we can see our drawing plate number 2. Okay, see that? Now when we open this, you would notice that it is now drawing number 2. Okay, this way we will not destroy our plate number 1. Every time we open is a new drawing. Okay, so now we save this, save as. I will go to my folder, save this as plate number 2. This is our standard. This is our standard there. And save. I will edit. So this should be plate number 2. Okay, and save. And then it will draw our drawing here. Okay. Okay, so let's draw this. First, we set the snap and the grid to 10. Why? Because our drawing is, the rook is in multiples of 10. Okay, so we set the snap, type snap, 10. The grid should be also set to 10. We notice that the grid line is visible on the screen. Okay, so we use the command line, L-I-N-E, to start our drawing. So we click here, there. You would notice that the cursor is perfectly on these points. Okay, so I just can now click on the screen, click there. You would notice that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You could see that on here. Okay, the coordinate, it says 50.000 angle 90. So it makes it easier. Then click, and this is easy. Be sure that you have the right number. Okay, the right number, and you close. You have an option there, close and undo. If you made an error, you can press U for undo, U for undo. Okay. C to close. Now, we'll make, if we do not use this method, we have to type in. So first we turn off use another method. We turn off the grid in the snap. The snap should be off. So if we do not use the snap and the grid method, we will draw this by typing the coordinates. Okay, click here, there, type in the coordinates, put in at 10 angle 90, 10 coordinates upwards, angle 90, at 10 gamma 10. What does the at symbol mean? At means it is the coordinate we're giving out is a relative coordinate. So, okay, see there. So at 50 angle 90, at negative 10 gamma 10. Why is that? Because the Cartesian coordinate, it says that if we're going to the right, horizontal going to the right, it's positive. Going to the left, it's negative. Going upwards, y is positive. Going downwards, y is negative. So we're going 10 to the left and 10 up. So negative 10 comma 10 at 0 x comma 20y at 10 comma 0 at 0 comma negative 10 at 10 comma 0 at 0 comma 10 at 10 comma 0, and so on and so on. This is a long process, and if you want to do this like this, then it'll be long compared to the snap and grid method. Okay, there's another way of doing this. To delete this first, I'm selecting it and clicking the delete button. Another way of doing this is by using the offset method. Okay, so line, by the way, before that we should set the ortho mode. Okay, you will click on this or press F8. What does ortho mode do? If ortho is turned to on, you can draw only horizontal or vertical lines. So we draw true lines, then we offset 10, offset 10, click, offset 50, offset 10, then again offset 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then line here, endpoint there, intersection there, endpoint, intersection, line, intersection there, endpoint there. Okay, and do that for the other side. line, intersection, to intersection again, line, intersection again. Okay, then trim, select all, trim. Okay, so it is a long process. If you make a mistake, then trim. Okay, it's a long process, but it can be done. Okay, so I'll delete this, type in erase, and select, and enter. Okay, so are we finished here? No, we still have to put lines there. Okay, so turn on the snap and the grid mode again, then line, endpoint, endpoint, line, endpoint, endpoint, line, and line. Why is it very fast? Because in AutoCAD, when you press the enter or the space bar, the last command that was used will be back. Okay, so I press space bar, there's the line. I do not need to type in line again or L again. I just have to press enter or space bar and it's back. You could even program AutoCAD to allow to select right click, to use the right click button. Okay, now we turn off the snap and the grid. Don't need it anymore. We will draw the smaller circles. So the smaller circles, its centers are located from the lower left, this corner, 20 plus second to the last digit of student number. So 20 plus second to the last. Second to the last is 5. So that's 25. So offset 25. Select this. Select this side. Select this. Select that side. Okay. Now, from the bottom up, that would be 40 plus the last digit of student number. So 56. So 6. So 40 plus 6. So 46. Offset 46. Click here. Click there. Now, we need the center of our small circle is the intersection of this line and that line. So how do we do that? Huh? So use the command fillet. So how does fillet work? Okay, if you have a line, ortho is turned on. If you have a line, okay, I have a line here. We want to extend this line, touching that and delete it, and we make an arc. That's how fillet work. Fillet is basically making a fillet curve. So let's try it there. So fillet, as long as the radius is, let's say radius 10. Okay, fillet, click here, click there. We have a radius that is, we have an arc that is 10. Okay, fillet, click, click. This radius is 10. Fillet, click, click. That radius is 10. So what if our line, yeah, what if the radius is set to 0? Fillet. What if the radius is set to 0? So fillet, we type in r for radius, there r for radius, we set it to 0. What if it is set to 0? Now we click on this, click on that, it will be cut with no arcs, because the radius is 0. Fillet, no arcs. What if it is set to no trim? So line, line. So fillet T, no trim, N for no trim, radius, let's put radius to 10. Okay, if we select this, select that, see, there is an arc, but there is no cutting, no trimming. Okay, so trim is a good thing. So fillet, then T, and T again for trim. Select, enter. Okay, what if we have two parallel lines? What would happen? Line 1 and offset, use offset, this time use a through command. Okay, so fillet, click here, click there, it made a arc. Is this 10? No, I just made an arc. Okay, fillet, let's try this, made an arc, we did it. Okay, so let's apply this in our drawing. Oh, by the way, so fillet should be, radius should be 0, so that we could click here and click there, but click here and click there. What if we click this one and that one? Would it intersect? Yes, but if we click this one and this one, no, because it will not intersect. If we extend this, it will not intersect, only on this side. Okay, now let's do our drawing. Okay, so fillet, mode is trim, radius 0, click here, there, trim and fillet again. Now we make our circle. The small circle, the center of the small circle is this point, this intersection of these two lines. So circle, end point, okay, and radius is 5. Okay, circle again, end point. By the way, that is the default of circle. AutoCAD is asking for specify the center point for the circle. The center point of the circle is at the end point of this line. So end, and radius is 5. We will need to draw the bigger circle. We don't need this anymore. Okay, so we need the properties of the two circles. If you click on this circle, you would notice that there are 5 squares, small squares. These are the quadrants, and this is the center of the circle, which is similar to the other side. Okay, so circle, we use 2p, the quadrant there, type in qua, for quadrant, and qua again for that quadrant. Now the circle used this to the quadrant to use as center. So let's have an example or more example of using the circle. Circle, you can click and click. That's a basic circle. What if I want to draw a circle using both ends as the diameter? So the procedure should have been, the long method should have been circle, then the center should be at the midpoint of that line, and the edge, the diameter radius should be end of this line. Okay, but the shortcut would be this: circle, 2p, endpoint, endpoint. Same results, different method. Okay, what if, how to use the other, so what's the 3p and the TTR? So I'll make lines first. Line 1, line 2. Okay, where's TTR? So we'll make a circle which uses two lines as tangent lines and given a radius. Okay, so circle TTR. So AutoCAD is asking for tangent, this one. Second, what's the radius? Let's say the radius is 10. Okay, that's our circle. Again, circle TTR, tangent 1, tangent 2, radius is 20. Okay, what if we use the, you have a rectangle, triangle, we want to make a circle passing through 3 points, the edge, meaning our circle would be outside. So circle, we use the 3p, and point again, and point again. Our circle now passes through these 3 points, meaning the circle is the triangle is circumscribed. Circle is circumscribed by a triangle. What if we make our circle inside? Okay, we use the command. What do we use? 3p, 2p, or TTR. Okay, if you want to do it the long method, we make a line, we don't locate the center. So how do you locate the center? Make a line from here to center, line from here to center, and the center point, the intersection of those two lines would be the center. Then from that center, you draw your circle. Okay, so this is how it works. Line and point to midpoint. Line again from endpoint to midpoint. Then circle from the intersection of these two circles to the midpoint of that circle. Oh, what's wrong? Line and point, midpoint. Okay, This is the center of our circle. Line from this point. No. Line, intersection, to perpendicular. Okay, that is our, it's this circle, endpoint, and perpendicular there. Okay. Line, endpoint. Oh, wrong procedure. Okay, so the short method would be using TTR. So circle, TTR, by radius, tangent, no, 3P, circle, repeat. Then tan to that line, tan to this line, and tan to that line. Okay, so it passes all, it touches all the three sides without overlapping. That is TTR, tangent ratio, but we didn't give a 3P. We use 3P, but we didn't give a specific point. We give a tangent. Okay. What if? Okay, so those are three methods of doing a circle. Now we will move our this rectangle, this rook to the center of our drawing. Okay, we could just eyeball it, meaning we could just move, select, click anywhere, and click. Maybe that's the center. Or if you really want it to be perfect, we do this. We move it first, the side, then we make lines, endpoint, endpoint, and line, endpoint again to the endpoint of that line. Okay, the center of this drawing is this midpoint, and the center of this drawing, of this box, is that midpoint. So I'll move this drawing using the midpoint of this line as my base point, specify base point, to this midpoint there. Okay, then deleting this, delete that. Now we have our drawing centered perfectly inside this distance versus that distance, this distance, and that distance is perfectly aligned. So that is using move. That is by using move and moving it precisely from one point to another. Okay, that ends our lesson. Save our drawing. Be sure that you have changed this to P2, and our dimensions is based on your student number. Okay, so save. Be sure that you have saved it to the correct file name, and see you on the next lesson.